It's called the dual control model. Your sexual personality. About this, when you get aroused, do you ignore it or do you just entertain it? Do you entertain that feeling that comes upon you when your body is ready to feel sexual? That's the question. Dual control model of sexual responses consists of two parts. But first, let me go into a little scenario that she opens up with, right? If this is you, just realize that you are normal. That's all we need to know. We are normal, regardless of what our body goes through, whatever we face, whatever we struggle with, we are normal. That's just how our body is in this season. We can change it. We would just have to have a different perspective on the way things go with our bodies and how it functions. Sexual excitation system, which is SES, is the accelerator for our sexual responses. Our body gets aroused with things that are within our environment. Our body uses our five senses, also our imagination, to find things that arouse us, such as what we smell, what we eat, what we taste, what we see. These things our body will connect with to give us the knowing, the knowledge of, oh, okay, this thing arouses me. This thing turns me on. Okay, now I need to see what this is. And that's why I asked that question. Like, when you get aroused, when you get turned on, when your body reacts to something that causes your body to say, okay, I want this. I want some sex from my husband, from my partner, from my spouse, who you with. Do you entertain it or do you ignore it? Sexual inhibition system, which is SIS. This is our sexual brakes. It is also known as, the brake. She compares this brake to the foot pedal in the car. So you can press on it. You can let it go as much as you want. You can, let off the gas as much as you want. So she talks about one of the brakes. One of the brakes signals your body to turn off your arousal because there is a potential threat. Okay. So potential threats, she explains in chapter 2, which would be, oh, I'm not going to do this because I could get an STI. Oh, I'm not going to do this because the police can catch us while we're trying to get it on in the car. Or we can't do it right now because our parents is in the next room. That type of threat. This type of break helps us to prevent the consequences. Okay? There's another one. This is the second break. The second break, also known as the no thank you. We tend to use this break because of fear, the fear of performance failure. Don't like the way I look, so I don't want to do it. I got to get up. Well, this is me, and my husband always gets on me about this. I don't want to wake up in the morning for work, so I don't want to. The kids are next door, or I got the baby in the bed. Just excuses. Well, waking up to get up in the morning is not an excuse. Hello, okay? But just excuses that will hinder us from feeding into the arousal, enjoying that sexual feeling when it pops up. So, to recap, we have a dual control model, which is a brake and the accelerator. Okay? We can push on the gas and enjoy it, or we can put on those brakes and say, oh no, this is closed for tonight. Hello. But we are working, we as women or men are working towards getting better in that area. Holding on to our sexuality, enjoying our body, loving ourselves, and giving our spouses the opportunity to love it too. Hello. We got to know we got the bomb stuff, okay? Don't hold it back. So let's go more into the brake and the accelerator. So it says, according to the dual control model, arousal is really two processes. Okay? Activating the accelerator and deactivating the brakes. Do y'all push the brakes more than you activate that accelerator? I was pushing the brakes real hard for a good minute. Now I'm learning how to train myself to push that, the accelerator more, to be open and not always say, no, I don't want that. No, I'm tired. No, I don't want. Because it's not in the forefront of my mind. You got those people that be on point, that can get some right then and there. They don't even have to think about it. It just happens. Me, if you a person like me, no. I have to be ready, in tune. My body has to be in the right place. My mind has to be in the right state of mind in order to have sex. Why? It says, so your level of sexual arousal at any given moment depends upon how much stimulation you press on the accelerator. Let's make that car go, y'all. Come on. Or how much stimulation you putting on that brake. In addition to how sensitive your brake and your accelerator is how your sex life gonna be. So let's work towards pressing that accelerator and letting our foot off of the brakes, okay? Because those brakes hinders us from enjoying some good sex with our spouses or whoever you got. So she goes on to say, we all operate with an accelerator and brakes. However, we all have different sensitivities to the inhibition system or the excitation system. I had to learn these words. For example, if you have a high sexual excitation and a low sexual inhibition system, your response will be desiring sex regardless of the potential threats. Okay, let's go on to this. Me and Rob, when we was young, we knew the consequences, but that didn't stop us. Let me say it says you are easily aroused and have a difficult time preventing the arousal. So I don't know if this is a good example, but we was, going somewhere. We really wanted some. So we drove up in this, abandoned parking lot. Looked like crackheads would be there, whatever. So we drove up in there, was doing the do. I think, I can't remember the whole thing, but I remember getting off of him, and then these cops pull up. Hold up, wait. We already knew the consequence, but because we were aroused, regardless of the potential threats, we just gave into it. Thankfully, we didn't get caught. The police came up to we was clothed. Thank you, Jesus. And the police came to see why we were in this parking lot. Don't know what was going on in our bodies at the time, but I thank God that he saved us and we didn't go to jail for indecent exposure. Child, that would have been a story, okay? Just knowing the difference between the two breaks, knowing the potential, threats, those breaks are okay because it's keeping you from getting into trouble. The other breaks is just the excuses. And I am bad for that. Like tonight, I know my husband's going to be like, and I'm going to be like, look, I got to go to work in the morning, okay? We're going to talk about this later. Y'all pray for me, okay? I just need y'all to pray for me. Sensitive breaks plus not so sensitive accelerator. Meaning you have difficulty getting aroused, lack of interest or desire, and problem with orgasm. If you have sensitive breaks and not so sensitive accelerator. If you have a sensitive break, you are very responsive to all the reasons why you should not get aroused. If you have relatively insensitive accelerator, it's hard to tune out the arousal for sex. So to recap, the dual control model explains how the brain responds to stimuli to increase or decrease your arousal. Arousal is the process of turning on the ons and turning off the offs. But that doesn't tell us anything about how our brains figure out what counts as sexually relevant, stimulus, and potential threats. What turns us on versus what turns us off is a learned habit from our culture. And it changes with each sexual experience. The question is, can we change our sexual personality from SIS, which is the brakes, to SES, which is pressing on the accelerator? So far, she says, so far it seems there's very little we can do to deliberately change the way we perceive how we press on those brakes, how we press on those accelerators. That's just our functions right now. So it says, however, you may not, even though you may not be able to change those mechanisms in itself, you can change how those mechanisms respond. She says, we often change what your brake considers a potential threat. And you can certainly reduce those threats like unwanted pregnancy, STIs, stress, whatever else comes along with that. We also can change what our accelerator considers sexually relevant. And we can increase the sexually relevant things in our life. In other words, we can change the context, which are our external circumstances and our internal state. Is the end of the chapter 2. Learning your accelerator, being aroused, and entertaining that arousal, especially if you marry. Come on now. If you are aroused, don't let your brakes hinder you, okay? And those brakes are like, if you went through years of pushing those brakes, it's going to take a good minute for you to change your whole mindset about those brakes. Those brakes are those excuses that you come up with because you don't want none. Let's let go of those excuses. And I got to keep myself accountable too, because I'm still struggling. But because of this book, I thank God that this book has opened my eyes to see what the problem was, which was I was pressing on those brakes too much. And it was hindering my sex life from growing, from flourishing, and enjoying what God has given me, which was to be intimate with my husband. Okay? Not only was I suffering, but my husband was suffering too. I don't want to say suffering, but, we were both struggling, wanting to please each other. However, because I didn't know what my struggle was, I just gave into those breaks. And there was times where I was aroused. Okay? And even when I was aroused, if he would have got on my nerves, my body was shut down. You ain't getting none tonight. That ain't happening. So there is hope. When we go through that, we are normal. And we just have to change our mindset, change our whole perspective. Okay? That will be all for tonight. I will be back next Sunday at 8 o'clock. Hope you will be there for Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is talking about the context to rule them all in your emotional brain. And I will see you next Sunday. Be blessed. Don't press on those brakes. Press on the accelerator, okay? Peace.